As Nolan continues to beat Mark to the ground, he recalls key moments in his life that reminded him of being a father. With every punch sending a powerful impact that shakes the ground, he eventually stops after seeing Mark's heavily bruised face. Nolan lies beside his beat-up son and wonders how it got to this point. Watching Mark barely breathing, drowning in his own blood, Nolan feels so badly at having to beat up his own son that he flies away in tears. Now, let's look back at the events that led to this horrific fight. Remember to like and subscribe, and leave a comment to let us know if you want any special encounters analyzed. Originally sent by the Viltrum Empire to conquer Earth, Omni-Man masquerades as the human Nolan Grayson, working as a writer. Having built a life on Earth, he originally intended to live out the rest of Mark and Debbie's lifespans before he carried out his mission. Everything changes when he discovers that Mark has inherited his powers, which shows that he has become part Viltrumite. Initially raising him to be a normal human child has backfired now that he needs him to become as ruthless as a Viltrumite to survive. Having realized that he wasted 20 years for nothing, he starts out by eliminating the Guardians of the Globe, which would threaten his plans. Before confronting Mark, he went to practice his speech at Mount Everest, but later realized that he didn't need to justify himself to his son. In true Viltrumite practice, if Mark refuses to comply, he simply needs to eliminate him, much like the Viltrumites did with all the weak in their society. He is torn about it, but at the end of the day, he continues his mission while trying to get Mark to join the Empire and do what is expected of him. When Mark refuses to comply, an epic battle ensues between father and son. Nolan Grayson, aka Omni-Man, is born a Viltrumite, a highly advanced alien race of extremely powerful humanoids of the galactic Viltrum Empire. Virtually immortal, the Viltrumites are known to be extremist warriors and planetary conquerors. Rapidly rising through the ranks through years of successful war and conquest, Nolan was sent by the Empire to prepare Earth for conquest. He later creates a new life on Earth and assumes the identity of Nolan Grayson. He marries Debbie, who later gives birth to a son named Mark, who later becomes the hero, Invincible. Initially, Omni-Man shows all the traits of an ideal superhero: brave, compassionate, loyal, charming, and willing to sacrifice himself for others. It was later revealed that these were only a facade to his true nature: cruel, ruthless, and loyal to a fault to the Viltrum Empire, even risking losing his family for his mission. Blessed with the Viltrumite's natural physiology, Omni-Man shows to be nearly immortal, with nigh invulnerability, remarkable resilience, and superhuman speed, strength, and stamina. He relies solely on his raw Viltrumite strength in battle to overpower his opponents. His massive combat experience from a millennium of fighting makes him a veteran on the battlefield, using his natural talents to the best of his abilities. This was demonstrated when he single-handedly defeated the entire Guardians of the Globe without breaking a sweat. Mark Sebastian Grayson is the son of Nolan and Debbie Grayson, and later becomes the hero Invincible. Born as half Viltrumite, he would awaken to his powers when he comes of age and begin training as a hero under his father's tutelage. He later joins the Teen Team, a group of teenage superheroes, where he meets his love interest, Adam Eve. After Omni-Man kills off the original Guardians of the Globe, Mark eventually joins the team after Cecil's insistence. Together, they protect Earth from both domestic and extraterrestrial threats. Despite being true to a hero's values of being brave and noble, he later discovers the harsh realities of being a superhero. He struggles to balance his life between family, love, friends, and superhero work. Being half Viltrumite, Mark shares the same physiology as his father, giving him the same strength, endurance, and durability. Like his father, he also demonstrates superhuman strength, speed, and stamina. His most notable ability is his nigh invulnerability, withstanding even the strongest attack from a Viltrumite warrior. He is also seen to go toe-to-toe with the strongest opponents in the series. With the entire Guardians of the Globe killed, Cecil pulls out all the stops to defeat Omni-Man. Cecil confronts Nolan, but when words can no longer reach him, he unleashes Sinclair's cyborgs, who put up a fight before Omni-Man rips them apart. When that wasn't enough to stop him, Cecil unleashes an amped-up kaiju, incapable of feeling pain. When Mark sees his father fighting the monster, he quickly rushes to help. Out of nowhere, the Immortal recovers from his injuries and charges at Omni-Man while Mark is busy with the kaiju. They quickly exchange heavy blows in the air while Mark struggles with the upgraded kaiju. Omni-Man tries to help Mark, but the Immortal gets in his way, and Omni-Man is forced to run his arm through the Immortal's chest, which horrified everyone who witnessed it. The Immortal tries to blind him by poking his eyes with his thumbs, but Omni-Man brutally cleaves him in half, much to Mark's shock. Unable to make sense of what just happened, Mark assumes that someone must be mind-controlling his father.
Dad, tell me how to stop him! Let my dad go!
But Nolan insists that he is himself. Omni-Man then reveals his history, about Viltrum, and what he is about to do. He insists that Mark join him, but Mark refuses, determined to protect Earth from becoming part of the Viltrum Empire. Round 1. When words can't convince Mark, they each prepare to fight for what they believe in. Nolan quickly beats Mark, showing the difference in strength and power. Even when Mark tried to play dirty by throwing some dust in his punches, Nolan was still able to overpower him. Nolan then knocks him to the ground and tosses him into the air. Cecil scrambles the jets, hoping to buy some time for Mark to think of something. Once Mark was thrown back to the ground, the fighter jets fired everything they had at Nolan. Although it was a direct hit, their attacks proved to be ineffective against him. And Nolan then cruelly kills all of the pilots. Mark manages to save one of them from falling, but Nolan catches up to them and brutally kills the pilot without remorse in front of Mark. When Mark tries to stop him from killing the other pilot, Nolan sends him flying with a powerful punch. Round 2. Mark ends up in the busy streets of Chicago, which horrifies him as he sees the carnage from the destruction they have caused. He quickly flies to catch a falling building, but despite his best efforts, he cannot stop the debris from falling over. Mark falls to his knees, upset because he is powerless to save everyone. Nolan tries to force Mark to see the reality. But when he dismisses his love for Debbie, Mark is outraged and continues to punch him. Nolan is unfazed by his attacks and slams Mark underground, forcing him to realize the futility of his resistance. He then picks up a beaten-up Mark and uses his body to crash into an oncoming train, killing all its passengers. Wow. Round 3. Mark tries to appeal to Nolan's humanity, explaining that he has seen him save humans and even risk his life to protect them. Nolan explains that although he may have been briefly happy on Earth, he is still loyal to Viltrum and claims he'd rather not spend another minute on this pathetic excuse of a civilization. When Mark is still unconvinced, Nolan flies him into the air and beats him up. He toys with Mark, sending him flying with a punch in every direction, while regretting his decision to raise him as a human. He is upset at how his decision has made Mark soft instead of being raised to become a ruthless Viltrumite. Round 4. Intent on teaching him how to be a Viltrumite warrior, Nolan crashes into a ship and takes Mark underwater, where he nearly drowns him. When Mark is unresponsive, he throws him to the side of a mountain. The impact was so strong that it caused an avalanche that covered Mark and the people below. Despite being drenched in his own blood and every bone broken, Mark refuses to give up and is still determined to stop him. When Mark shows his resolve to protect everyone, Nolan pummels his face until his teeth fall out and his face is disfigured. My God, Nolan doesn't stop, and every punch sends a powerful shockwave that shakes the very ground they're on. Nolan then remembers when Mark was young, and he watched him play baseball for the first time. The memory triggers a nostalgic paternal feeling, the feeling he had when he was a father to Mark. Seeing Mark's bruised and battered face, he is still unable to figure out why he would continue to protect humans when he will outlive all of them, and he will have nothing then. Mark groans that he will still have him, which touches a nerve when he hears it. Seeing his bloodied hands and his son drowning in his own pool of blood, Nolan flies away in tears, unable to kill his son, despite what he said. Damn. That's all for now. Thanks for watching Epic Animated Encounters. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more action-packed showdowns.